Good to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah. I met your other. He's a big one. I said, I don't know about that.
Security from the.
He's actually out at night.
Oh, easy.
Okay. Yeah. We require a couple for each meeting, so they take turns from different sites to come in here for the meetings.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Meeting to order. We're going to play or just I'll just read. Okay. Good evening. The September 14th, the regular board meeting is being recorded. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs or record the meeting, provided the individual's conduct does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing the view of others. Roll call. Ms. Corona,
Present.
Mrs. McGrady,
Present.
Mr. Sanchez,
Present.
Mrs. Nguyen, and Mr. Delgado is not here at this time, and I am present. Are there any comments from the public on closed session items? All right, we will go ahead and go into closed sessions and reconvene the meeting at 6:30 p.m. Let me grab my. I'll be right back. Grab my- Right, going ahead and reconvene.
Welcome to the Antelope Valley Union High School District Board of Trustees meeting. This board meeting is being recorded. Anyone wishing to observe the meeting may do so via AVUHSD's YouTube channel. Individuals may take photographs or record meetings provided the individual's conduct does not constitute a disruption, including obstructing the views of others. Those wishing to address items on the agenda and matters that are not on the agenda but within the jurisdiction of the AVUHSD board shall do so in person, complete a speaker form, and give it to the designee before the public comment portion of the meeting. The speaker form must be given to Ms. Orozco before the board president announces the item. Once the item has been called, we will no longer accept new cards. Ms. Orozco will call the individual's name to come up to the podium to provide their comments. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. A total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Non-agendized items are limited to a total allotment of 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotment to another speaker. The district encourages members of the public to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any item on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. The board does not prohibit public criticism of its policies, procedures, programs, services, acts, or omissions. Similarly, the board does not prohibit public criticism of district employees. Speakers are cautioned that no person is immune from liability for making intentionally false or defamatory comments simply because those comments are made at a public meeting. Attendees are also reminded of the board's civility policy, Policy 1313. This civility policy requires that members of the district staff will treat parents and other members of the public with respect and expect the same in return. The district is committed to maintaining disruption-free board meetings. The board will not permit any disturbance or willful interruption of its board meetings. Persistent disruption by an individual or group are grounds to terminate the privilege of addressing the board. Persistent disruption by an individual shall be grounds for the board president to terminate the individual's privilege to address the board. The district promotes mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct among district board members, district employees, parents, and the public. The district seeks public cooperation with this endeavor.
Right, thank you. We do not have the Antelope Valley High School JROTC tonight. I don't see them. Okay, we'll move on to C, Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Sanchez, can you lead us in the pledge, please?
Please stand, pledge allegiance. Ready, begin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we'll move into 4, Pinko meeting. Are there any comments from the public on Pinko items?
There are not.
All right, great. B, Pinko unaudited actuals 2022-2023. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the Pinko 2022-2023 unaudited actuals for transmittal to the Los Angeles County Office of Education. Can I have a motion? Second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. All right, we will reconvene the regular meeting. All right. 6, recognition, reports, public comments. Educational Services Constitutional Week, Daughters of the American Revolution written statement. I'm going to go to Greg on this one, but
Ms. Corona wanted to make a comment.
absolutely, Ms. Corona.
Yes, I just wanted to call out the DAR Revolution written statement. And I looked at a lot of these resources and it's really amazing to see these resources for teachers for their students. And I was just called out by the US Department of Education directive regarding Public Law 108-447. It goes into more detail, but one of the statements that's in the directive says schools will develop many different creative ways to enable students to learn about one of our country's most important historic documents. And I just, I really liked that statement. And I just think it's really important for our district to maintain that importance within our students about one of our country's most historic documents, because a lot of times there's a lot of anger, and I think we need to bring it back to the importance. So I just wanted to make that note, and thank you, Mr. Nian.
Thank
Thank
Ms.
you, Board
Corona.
President.
Thank you. All right. I will hold off on my board officer report. C, we'll move to C, District Strategic Planning Update. Mr. Nehan.
The only update I have, the last strategic planning meeting was rescheduled for next Monday due to the weather event we had. But all 5 board members were able to complete their survey and conversation with our strategic planning facilitator.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And Mr. Hawkins, we got the Antelope Valley School Transportation AVUHSD report update, sir.
Just real quick, they have about 92 routes they drive daily. They have about 80 drivers, so we're short there. And they, Fridays
short?
are actually their worst days because they have about 10 to 15 drivers out.
How short are we?
It's
still-
about 10 to 15 right now, because we also have, they'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 drivers call in sick.
Okay.
So they have a class of 14 right now, and they have 5 more that should graduate in the next month. They're hopeful in the next 30 days or so to possibly to get that improved. I don't think they'll get fully staffed, but they'll improve it.
And how are we doing with pay? How are we doing with pay for the bus drivers?
We did a equity pay formula about 2 years ago. And so it's based on what the 3 districts average is. And so once the 3 districts that are part of the JPA settle with their classified bargaining groups, then they'll take the average of those and the drivers will get that as an increase.
Okay, outstanding. We need to really look at that, and make sure our people are getting paid. Okay.
Yes.
E, Mr. Millings, ABTA. I just want to say congratulations on your negotiations. 1 day, no attorney. You brought in a contract. Can't wait till we get it in front of us so I can vote. So good job. Tell your team outstanding job. All right. All right. Are there any comments from the public on agendized items?
On agendized items, I have one comment.
All right. Can I have that card, please? I'm gonna read that one. The public is invited to address the board on any agenda item. To address an item on the agenda, speaker forms must be given to the designee before the board president announces this item. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and a total time for public input on each item shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is committed to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish a time allotted to another speaker. During public comments, the board listens to concerns, issues. The board may ask questions for purpose of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the public or taking action on items not on the agenda. All right, we have one card. All right, Miss Vivian. Welcome.
Very surprised I'm here. I'd like to welcome my 3 new board members, and Ms. Roscoe's not here, Nehan and Miss Ramos. I'm here again because I normally don't always know what I want to say, but I'm just surprised at how we're so full in here because of the districts, you know, with the CS, the union, the teachers and stuff, and I understand some of their plight, but I'm gonna say this right now. I came up here because I remembered something as a parent coming in 2020 when our kids were called niggers, all of them at Highland, they were black, Spanish and all, they were all called the niggers, go out there and play. So play like some whatever on the basketball team. So I like to be coming here because things were not addressed when we had that former superintendent. But one thing I learned when I saw Dr. Victoria Ruffin talking about the number I'm speaking about was an education number I, Antelope Valley College District and the Union High School District's career path. I remember them always speaking on how certain schools always get some of these type of programs that partnership with everything, but not all the schools on the east side, west, on the east side. There's so many things that go on in our district. There's sometimes only a small amount of people can be a part of being involved with the Antelope Valley School District and the college. That I know few people that have gone to SOAR and different people that have been on the school board meeting or the school district's teachers that seem to have always followed a path where they can get into these programs at SOAR and all kind of kids. But I remember Dr. Ruffin was saying the availability of these programs should be afforded to all kids, all black, white, brown, yellow, green, purple. I don't care what you are, whatever you are. I don't even care if you're an alien, because this district is known before you three got up here to do a lot of dirtiness, especially with that one there, Grady, and the one that's set on the side here. The other one, sorry, Miss Perel, I'm talking about Wynn, but we've been through a lot in this district because a lot of things are not fair. But why I'm really tripping on seeing how many people are here today, because when we needed people to speak up for our students for a lot of things, even the district and the Teachers Association, when Stockdale, who was part of this so-called people that are not helping these kids to join or get higher education, the people that didn't come here, they weren't mad about people coming in here with the Confederate flag on their mouth, sitting here representing this district. No one is standing up for these kids' education. We keep on talking about so-called monies and funds that because we can't get Jay Furno, the crooks and things that were going on that they said that was happening in this district, alleged and all. We keep on having people that's not standing up for the damn kids. I'm sick of being in this district, watching so many people want to support so many things that don't have to do with these kids. When things were going on in this district and these kids were being harmed, where were you then when you were standing up or not standing up for what the kids were going through? When Stockdale and Anthony Hunt being helped by her to get promoted, we're sitting here dogging out these kids and parents of this district and still are doing it, and no one is saying anything, but everybody wants to worry about our union. We need to have unions. We had to have teachers that have rights and they need to get their unions and all kind of things. But doggone it, when it comes to these kids, stand up for these kids. So if you're coming in here to mess up the programs, let's talk about the education. Let's stop talking about the mess, because some of you all, you're not right when you've allowed some of these teachers to look at people coming here with Confederate masses and never said a damn thing. And I've been here since 2020 and I'm gonna be here.
Time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your comments. G, public comments on the floor from non-agendized items. Obviously, I think I have 20 some cards. The public is invited to address the board on any matter not on the agenda that is within the jurisdiction of the board. To address an item not on the agenda, speaker forms must be given to the designee before the board president announces this item. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and a total time for public input shall be limited to 20 minutes. Only one person is permitted to stand at the podium at a time. No speaker may relinquish the time allotted to another speaker. During public comment, the board listens to concerns, issues. The board may ask questions for purpose of clarification. The law prohibits the board from entering into a dialogue with the public or taking actions on items not on the agenda. I think I have 14. I think I'm able to give. I'll go over 20 minutes a little bit. I think I can give everybody 2 minutes. We will do that. So I'm going to give every speaker 2 minutes. That'll put us over the 20-minute, but I think you all want to be heard. So first, is it Hernandez? Idalia Hernandez? Yes, ma'am. Please come to the podium. Welcome. And the topic is
respect to us.
well,
Because
it
we
talks
are
about
humans.
increase in our salary.
Increase and also the salary, and it's part of the respect.
Okay.
And we contribute a lot to not only to society, to the students, to the whole community. And what do we get? We have no respect. They treat us like what? They're not even count on us as a human beings. They put us down because we're women, because we're Hispanics. Why? Because we're short, because we are fat. Why? That is just not right. I think we have the right to have respect. I think all of you guys would like to have some respect, and we respect you. And we would like to, all of us, to have some sort of respect. And how, hey, everything is going up. How are we gonna do it? How you guys are planning to do it? Because we are collaborating. We're there every single day, every single minute, and every time that they need us, we're there. And we support each other. What do we get? We're not getting anything, but we don't want to speak because we're scared. Scared of what? We give a lot of respect, and we give a lot. We give 100% or more than that, and we deserve that. As a human being, we deserve that.
Thank you. What? Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, Ms. Anderson.
I have a clarifying question, please. When you say they, who are you referring to in the they? Please and thank you.
We can say teachers, we can say admin, what else? Parents, they do not respect us because they don't see us as a human beings. They just see us as a part of the group. Oh yeah, they limit us. They limit us on what we do. But let's make a mistake and they will jump on us.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Anybody want to make a comment on that? Anyone? Well, I will. Well, I'm just going to make a comment as the president. Increase in your salary, I absolutely agree. I can tell you that one of the roles when I was a president of a union, I used to tell my management, I used to say, hey, look, you guys are management. You have responsibilities. First, we are employees of the district. I was employees of the state. Said, they're your employees first before they're our union members. And you're absolutely right. And I told them, you have a responsibility to pay them the best, get the best, highest paid and the best benefit. And I can tell you, as I sit up here today, that's what I'm going to advocate for you guys. So I agree with you. You need a pay increase as much as we can give you. And if we can try to get more, we will. All right. Next speaker, Ms. White, Karen. Welcome.
Thank you. So I won't take too much of your time tonight because it looks like you've
I
got a
can't
pretty
hear
good-
you. Can you speak up a little? Thank you.
Yeah, I can. Sometimes you don't want to hear that though.
No, we want to hear you.
So I won't take very much time. You got a long agenda tonight and a lot of people that want to speak. So all I can say is respect the voice of CSEA. Respect their representatives. Respect our union. The removal of CSEA from your board agenda is extremely disrespectful.
Right. Any comments from the board? Ms. Nguyen, Ms.
Sure, I
McRae?
think it's disgraceful that we are not allowing CSEA to speak at our meeting.
Okay, anything else? Ms. Wendy, hold on. Ms. Nguyen, do you have anything? Turn on your mic.
I would really like to see CSEA back on the agenda. We missed Karen's comments, and I want to hear how things are going for classified union people, because I care. Thank you.
All right, we will move on. Maria? Ashu? Yes, ma'am. Welcome.
Sorry, I have to set up here.
Take your time.
Good evening. Sorry, I have the wrong email here. Okay. Good evening, Board of Trustees, classified staff of Antelope Valley Union High School District, and CSEA members of this Sea of Blue sitting right behind me. My name is Maria Ishu, and I am a proud member of CSEA Chapter 297 of the Lancaster School District. I am a member of this community, and I am here in support of CSEA Chapter 612, and I'm here to demand the respect that my fellow classified brothers and sisters deserve. At first, I thought the actions of the board president, Charles Hughes, removing the voice of CSEA from your board agenda was some clerical error. But after listening to this president that's been posted all over YouTube, boy, was I wrong. The filth and disrespect that came from your mouth got me to thinking, is this how you treat the families of this community? Is this how you treat the students of this community? Because if you haven't heard already, thousands of us classified staff are members of this community. We make up this community. It is time you realize that everyone is watching you and how you handle yourself, not just in these board meetings, but how you serve the community. I'm here to remind you to wake up and realize that your only job from this day forth is to warm up your seat for the next person we, the community, will be voting on. The next person who will treat us with the respect that we deserve. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. And I'll respond, as a board, respect goes both ways. So maybe you should, it goes both ways. All right. Rebecca on better wages for staff. Rebecca? Bonna? Yes, that's it. Rebecca, welcome.
So, hi, I'm Rebecca. Thank you guys all for supporting us and being here with us. I want to talk mainly about wages because our wages affect everything. Many of us are college educated and ABA trained, and here we are working a job that we can barely pay our bills for. And then we're left with understaffing because nobody wants to do this job for what we make. Let's be honest, it's a difficult job and it takes a lot. You go home exhausted mentally and physically some days, and we can't keep staff members because we're not paying them well enough. And on top of that, we're just not respected all around. The calendar for the school year doesn't even take us 10-month employees into account. We have 6 days in June or 5 days in June or whatever it is the last few years, and we're expected to work them because if we don't, the students lose out. But the truth is it's not in our contract, so we don't have to, but we help you guys out and we make sure to show up for those days, you know? And it's like, we're the last ones thought of and we're the first ones thrown under the bus when there's a problem. We're the front of the lines and we're treated like we're less than many of the employees, especially as a paraeducator. We're probably considered one of the bottom of the barrels. Like between us and the cafeteria workers, there's so lack of respect on the part for us. And that's not cool. Like you couldn't run our school. If we were all out sick one day, it would affect the school students. And that's why we don't do it, because we love our students. We care about our students. We want them to be educated. And on top of that, just with this cost of living, we can't live anymore. Like when I started working here, we were kind of competing and we could like actually pay our bills, but it's getting harder and harder just to keep up with our rent. And we deserve more.
Yep. All right. Any board comments? Okay, I'll comment. I absolutely agree with you, and we're going to do everything we can to give you guys the best pay and the best benefits. That's our goal, and that's what we're going to do. All right. Ramos, Star Ramos. Anybody? Do we see her? Okay. Is that Star? All right, welcome, Star. And this is staff to be hired.
I enjoy my job. I've had it for a long time. I've watched kids graduate and move on and get a job with the high school district. times have changed. And it's not the same feeling that I had years ago, where we worked together and worked as a team and we had each other's backs. I'm not sure if any of you have been on a high school campus lately and felt just, I don't, the vibe, but it's not positive. And we can do whatever we can do to encourage our kids, but we need more. People are tired. We're overworked. There are not anybody wants to be a sub for any positions because we don't pay enough. Who wants $15 an hour to take care of a student that has seizures or to work in a cafeteria with 3,000 kids that are going through that line? Okay, you can work at McDonald's and make more money and not have that responsibility of someone's life on your hands. So something needs to change. Fast food workers are going to be starting at $20 an hour come April. All right, state law. It's time to look at
30 seconds.
the amount that you're paying and change it at least to a minimum amount that, you know, fast food workers get. Thank you.
Can I ask to
Excuse me.
clarify?
Hold on. Go ahead, Ms. Fern. We got a couple questions. Ms. Fern.
Just a clarifying question. So you said $15 an hour. Can you be specific on which position exactly?
Are
is
you a
the $15?
paraeducator?
I'm a paraeducator. It's
So that's
substitutes.
Para-educator.
Paraeducator. It's one word or hyphenated,
No, no, no. I'm saying,
P-A-R-A.
Is there levels? Are you like a para one? Is there any sort of level? I just
It-
trying to get down to the clarity of which position is paying $15 an hour.
It's all substitutes.
Oh, substitutes.
So
Thank
if we
you.
need
Okay.
a sub because we're sick or our child is sick or our parent is sick, we don't have any. So our coworkers are carrying the brunt. We're doubling up for kids that are high profile. They already have lawsuits in hand. Who wants to come work here?
Yep.
I don't know anybody that does.
Well, ma'am, we hear
Thank
you.
you
I can tell you,
for the
we hear you.
clarification.
We will be addressing.
Can I have a question?
Excuse me, one more, Mr. Sanchez.
I have a question. How long have you felt this way? It's just a question. Because
Oh,
I want to
I'll-
make a difference.
I
want to
hope
make a
so.
positive impact because I see the support, I see the brothers and sisters here, and you guys came in strong. I like this. And I'm a union employee.
Right, well, thank you. I would have to say, classified employees really stepped up during the COVID and the shutdowns.
That was a big.
And as the support, we didn't get the thanks after the fact. It was just, you know, go back as usual. And we're still not getting it. You know, I work in a ED classroom. Our kids are diploma track. We want the best for them. But when we're having one student that wants to fight and, you know, is causing havoc, we're taking away from those other students that need to, you know, assistance in history or civics. And it's not okay. The status quo is not okay.
I agree with
Right.
you. Thank you for speaking up.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Well, Carmen, I could tell you this board majority is going to fight really hard to make sure you guys are the best paid and best benefited. And we're going to keep saying that, and we're going to keep saying that, and we're going to accomplish that. So, all right. Leanne Fitzgerald. Welcome. This is right.
I'm not only a resident of the Antelope Valley, I graduated through the district. My kids have graduated through the district. And I watched the last board meeting and I was disturbed by the snide remarks that you made. And I'll tell you right now, it's even worse in person. You claim to be a role model for our lovely children that are coming up. And I'm sorry, but as far as giving a role model for an elected official that are coming up, oh my goodness, this is terrible. There was actually the lack of respect that you've showed fellow board members is absolutely unacceptable. Not just disrespectable, that's minimizing it. But whenever you're sitting there and you're getting upset because all these people disrupted your board meeting, I want you to remember one thing. You caused this. It was your actions of removing Karen White from the agenda that caused all these people to show up. Only you. You're the only one to blame. So you could fix the problem too. We still don't even know what the reason was. So maybe that's the thing. The one thing, if you remember what I say, is you caused this. Only you. You can fix it.
Thank you. Next speaker, Yvette. Right, welcome.
Good afternoon, good evening. I was speaking about, there's 26 paras that are severe and there's 29 paras that are behavior. We're being told to do behavior work. That's not our job. You need to please let them know if we get hurt, we're done. We can't support our families. We shouldn't be doing it. 29 and 26 are different. Please let the classification and the staff and whoever you need to know that we are not allowed to chase kids, because if I fall, my union is not going to back me because I shouldn't have been there. So we're being told we have to do different jobs within our schools. Like I told my teacher, I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. If I fall, I can't support my children. Please let them know. Thank you.
So can you email me the concerns on that? I'd like to really look at that.
And it's probably going on at every school because we're short-staffed. So we're overworked and underpaid. But like I told, I hate to tell you this, but I can't. So I sure will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Brett Neal. Brett Neal. Welcome.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Board President and board members and cabinet. My name is Brett Neal. I'm a recently retired employee of this district.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And coming here tonight, I really didn't have a plan to speak, but seeing so many familiar faces, I really wanted to take an opportunity. The 35 or so years that I was employee of this district, and especially those as an administrator, I knew there were times in my career that I missed opportunities to say thank you and to let people know what a blessing it has been for me to be able to be part of this district. So board, I know you have a tremendous responsibility and an awesome impact on this community and on this staff. And so I want to congratulate you, thank you. And really my prayer for you is to be strong, courageous, to be bold, to be out there looking forward to working with this community, this staff, the district students, and so on. And Ms. Wynn and Ms. McGrady, it was so great to work with you over the years. So thank you for your input into my career. Mr. Nehan, Superintendent Nehan, it was great working with you. It was fantastic. It was fun. There are things that happened in that room that we never want to talk about. It was a great opportunity to learn from you and to work with you. And cabinet, Brian, Shanlin, I know Chris isn't here. Christina, it was such a pleasure to work with you. You truly were a blessing to me. And I really missed opportunities to thank you and to say what a privilege it was to be part of that team. And I saw Mike out here. Thank you so much, Mike, and your teachers. You guys do a fantastic job. It was a blessing for me to work with you. Karen and CSEA, it was such a fantastic opportunity that we had together, and we learned so much working together. Administrators, site administrators, I know the awesome job and hours you put in. So thank you for all of your hard work. And just to thank you again, Greg, thank you everybody for an opportunity. You don't always get to say those things, but I wanted to take this opportunity while I was here. Thank you so much.
Thank you back. Thank you. Chris Parks. Chris Parks.
I actually just real
Oh, go ahead.
quickly
I'm
want to
sorry.
say,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry to, but I want to say it was a pleasure working with you, Mr. Neal, and your wife as well. Thank you for all the years of service that you contributed to this district and to the students and the staff. Thank you.
Welcome.
My name is Christine Parks. I'm with the Antelope Valley Parents for Education. I wanted to recognize the Daughters of the American Revolution and acknowledge the U.S. Constitution next week. I watched and looked at the links that were posted in the agenda. It was refreshing to update my knowledge, such as Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution states that the U.S. Constitution is the law of the land. The officials must raise their hand and swear an oath to uphold it in every situation and swear allegiance to that nation. Under the First Amendment, Congress shall not make any laws regulating an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abating the freedom of speech or the right for people to peacefully assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. The 14th Amendment has had several Supreme Court rulings stating that parents have the ultimate care, control, and management of their children. Finally, Article 9 and 10 states that the people are the final authority over the government and no one can prohibit their fundamental rights. Right now, we are seeing an outright war on our rights. The government is labeling us as terrorists, and as early as yesterday has allotted funds to do so and to recognize people. The state has passed mandates to force educators and staff to lie to parents. And just today or yesterday, a federal judge in California ruled that a school district cannot compel teachers to lie to parents, stating that a student cannot expect privacy or expect disclosure in a public school setting. And as the Article 9 and 10 state, shouldn't we have the final say? So my challenge to the school board is to see if you will bow to the tyrannical government in Sacramento, or will you follow the ultimate law of our land? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I can tell you this board is going to be very pro-parent. So, thank you. Vivian. Welcome again.
Yes, I'm surprised. I'm gonna try to be real frank, real quick. I understand their plight, and I understand that I know that you're gonna do what you gotta do to make sure they get paid. But I'm gonna say this to some of them that's sitting in here worried about getting paid. When I was up here coming in here in 2020, when these kids were called a certain name, the civility policy about this place was was a joke. You got Grady sitting here, you had the superintendent, you had the old Furno that was here, these people, and the Antelope Valley Press, Julie Drake. These people are known to have under Dr. Ruffin's plight, and even when Bob Davis was here, the racism that has gone on in this district because of the things that they have done to the kids of color, brown, black, light skin, mixed kids and all that, on the wealth and on the backs of them getting paid the way they have gotten paid in this district. You worried about how come they can't even get $20 an hour. It's a shame that they can't get $30 an hour. I think the McDonald's should get $35 an hour because guess what? They're dealing with your food. But when I see these fools like this racist one, this one here, McGrady, and the rest of them, and Perel, I got to say something to, not Perel, I'm so sorry, Perel, because see, they had your poster board sitting up on a wall a year or two ago when you was up here talking about how dirty you were with Stockdale and them. But the rest of these people were doing so dirty in this district with the monies and the funding that they were not transparent. They're sitting up in here now worried about their pays and what they're not getting. When we got new people like sitting here, Mrs. I forget her name right here to try to help us. She's getting over 200,000. The president of Furno, the other people, they've gotten over millions sitting up in here. If you want to find out how much money is being spent on this district and how they're getting paid, certain ones, you need to ask for the legal paperwork to find out how much they're getting paid. Millions are going on. When Superintendent Rivera was up in here and the rest of them, and that Brett Neal, he wasn't right when I need to come and get the information for Stockdale and Hunt about the pays that these people were doing. Half these people sitting up in here, they acting like they're for these kids and they acting like they really want to help you all. They're not doing it. I know it because I'm a parent and the kids have been done wrong. Help them get their money. So I know you three are making sure their pants are really they got some Pee Wee Herman stuff up in their pants because guess what? They're pissed. They're pissed that they can't get the pants out their behinds because they know they're wrong. Thank you for that.
Thank you for your comments. All right. Diana Padilla Garcia.
Good evening to everyone. I am here as a parent. I mean, I know these unions are trying to get respect, but how about you respect us parents and give us a space too in this agenda to share with you the stuff that's going on in our schools. That's what I'm talking about respect. When I see that you guys do that and respect the parents. I am here after I had to officially file a complaint with this district because your staff continues to conduct themselves in unprofessional and unethical manners. Okay, I am the CAC alternate rep for the AV-SELPA CAC. However, this past summer, our lovely director decided to bring to this board a new rep, which just caused so many problems at our CAC. And I'm talking problems because we are a state mandated committee and we do have to abide by the Brown Act too. So I have officially filed a complaint as well with the LA County District Attorney's Office Public Integrity Unit because we are a state mandated committee. So you'll be hearing from that soon. I did send it to you, all of you, so you should all have that complaint in your emails. And I am working with Ms. Rislings in regards to that because this should have
30
never
seconds.
happened. That is such a disrespect to us parents that are trying to volunteer our time to help this district support our kids, our children. So I also talked about the California Healthy Youth Act last time, and that's something that I still need to get follow-up from someone. We need to talk about that. I'll be waiting for that textbook hearing you guys are having.
Thank you for your comment. Mr. Oki? Welcome.
Good evening, and it's Oak. Follows rules of English. I know that's odd for a name. Ms. Corona, at the end of the last regularly scheduled meeting, you asked why CSEA is upset. Let me ask you, why is AVTA permitted to speak to you unfettered by a time restriction? Why not CSEA? It's a lack of respect bordering on interference in union activities. Individuals standing up here during this time like myself, whether we're with CSEA or not, is not CSEA addressing this board about issues that are going on. Now, do you just expect them to talk about negative things? I hope not. I hope they have positive things to say too. When I talk to my board, I talk about both, and I'm permitted to speak as long as I need to on the agenda where it belongs. Fix it. It's simple. Put one line back in. Talk about expenditures. You called 2 special board meetings since our last regularly scheduled one. Now I could make one, I wasn't able to make the other, I was out of town. And at the one I missed, you voted on a motion that you said was going to be tabled possibly till it died. Well, I think somebody mentioned that you can't do that. You need to vote on it. And I'm fine if you want to vote to not retain Fagan, Friedman, and Full Frost anymore. That's this board's right.
30 seconds.
But then sending your attorney on a mission to find Miss Billings, that's a zero-sum game. It doesn't benefit anyone because he'll find something. I know he will, because you told him to. Told him not to come back without. And how are you going to get that money? Sue them? That costs more money. He appreciates that. His firm appreciates that. I don't as a taxpayer. I'll be back next month to finish this speech off.
All right, thank you. Ms. Perrell, welcome.
Good evening, Board President, Cabinet, Board members, legal counsel, Greg. I was actually here because at the last SOPA CAC meeting, there was discussion to create committees because it's a 7 board now. And one of the things that I was discussing, and there's always been an issue, it's not just our district, it's across all the districts, is regarding busing. And so one of the questions I actually had when I used to serve on the AVSTA board in 2019 was that there's 3 districts that our JPA actually serves 3 districts, 2 of our feeders and ours. We pay the bulk of it. But since the change and everything with funding and whatnot, and probably I imagine everything's gone up a little bit, I was kind of curious as to just a percentage, I don't want a number, just a percentage of what we pay out as a district and also the other 2 districts, which is actually West Side and Lancaster. That's pretty much why I came here for.
Right, thank you. And I'll have a comment. Mr. Hawkins, do you know the answer to that question?
We are about 51%, 52% of the JPA.
So 52% out of 3.
No, out of 100%.
No, what I'm saying is out of 3.
Oh, out of 3 districts, yes. Then
Yeah,
one
so
of us
we
about,
pay 52% out of,
right,
there's
one
3 of
district's
us
about-
in the JPA.
yes, one's about 28%, and then the other makes up the smaller difference. That'd be West Side.
And how is that figured? Why do we pay the 52% or
The
51%?
amount of routes that we have for special ed and general education students.
Okay, so we expend more
Yes.
for our services. Okay,
Right, there's more students being served for our district than there are for the other 2.
but we get a benefit due to the fact that we all combined and buy the buses and, correct? Okay, all right.
Yeah, I was just curious because I remember it was a little bit more before. So that's why I was just wondering.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hawkins, for that quick information.
And we do have a larger radius because we cover much larger. The Lancaster and West Side have smaller, we're much larger, so we have much further bus runs, not, like out to Lake LA and Little Rock.
Do we have more say since we pay more?
More what?
Do we have more say in the
No,
business?
the JPA is equal 1/3 for each.
Maybe we should look at that. All right, thank you. Last but not least, Mr. Davis, former board president. Welcome.
Thank you. Mr. President, I prepared a 3-minute speech tonight, and I'm asking the board if I could just get 1 minute. I've not spoken here in over 4 years.
Okay, I don't have a problem with it. Miss Wendy, you have a problem with that? To give him an additional minute, since we're already over our 20 minutes. Nope, Ms. McGrady.
I think it's unfair. Everybody else gave them 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're way
How
past
do you
20.
say now, this one gets 3 minutes, everybody else got 2 minutes? Let's be
Well,
fair
You
across the
you can
board.
say no. You can say no. All
I'm saying no.
right, Mr. Sanchez, are you okay with it?
I want to hear everybody.
Okay. Mr. Davis, you got 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you, board. Miss McGrady, you miss me yet? Well, apparently you do. Because during the August 25th special board meeting, you invoked my name once again. Look, I left this district 4 years ago, and I'm still being talked about at these board meetings. It's like y'all have some form of PTSD. And fake Drake sitting over here, your propaganda puppet, still writes about me in that raggedy thing called a newspaper. Laughable. If it wasn't for spell check and cut and paste, she'd be unemployed. Actually, her 50 articles about me has propelled my standing on the national stage. So keep talking and writing. I love all the attention. Look, I'm not mad because what this tells me is that I was a very effective board president that exposed the harm that you, Miss Wynn and Dan Shy, have caused to the Black and brown kids of this district. Miss McGrady, I'm not going to stand here and call you a racist or a liar because you know what you are. And we will let the facts of this investigation speak to who you really are. You and Miss Wynn are no different than Hazel Bryan, the white bigot that taunted and harassed Elizabeth Eckford, an innocent Black student of the Little Rock Nine, as she was attempting to enter high school in 1957. Jim Crow 2.0 doesn't live too far from your mindset, Miss McGrady and Miss Wynn. Even though, Miss Wynn, you stated at a recent board meeting that you had helped one Black boy one time. Who admits to that? And let's be clear, Ms. McGrady, you, David Vieira, Donita Nguyen, Barbara Willebrand, Michael Dutton, and others have been in bed with Jay Furno and F3 for over 20 years, including your friend Bridget Cook, which you gave $3.5 million to go away and bury all the dirty secrets of this district. And now I understand from your self-admission how you won the small claims case. Let us note that an F3 attorney wrote the legal brief and was in court with you all day, which cost the district thousands of dollars. And I see why you, Miss Nguyen, and Karen are so adamant in keeping F3 around. Can you say pay to play? What is really telling, Miss McGrady, remember all the false allegations you accused me of when I sat on this board? Well, I find it ironic
30
that it now
seconds.
appears you may get swept up into a serious investigation that could possibly have dire consequences. I believe you should just resign and save the district lots of time and money, especially when you know what you've done is illegal and corrupt. And in closing, Ms. McGrady, wouldn't it be better to go out in a blaze of glory instead of in an orange jumpsuit? And one last thing you can all count on,
Time.
paraphrasing John Lewis, good trouble just seems to follow me. Good night.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Excuse me, I do have a question. Mr. Davis, what investigation are you referring to? You mentioned twice there's an ongoing investigation that is going to have dire consequences for me. What investigation are you
Miss-
talking about?
Miss McGrady, didn't we just put a F3 under investigation last meeting, our
That
special meeting?
isn't me. I'm not F3.
Well, I think what he's saying is you might
No,
get
he
swept
said
up in
me.
that
He
investigation.
said you. He just said, I may be going to jail.
Maybe
He
getting
was talking
swept,
about me. So
yeah,
what-
swept up
What
in their
investigation
investigation.
is he referring to, Mr. Hughes?
Well, I could tell you he's talking about F3
I
and you might
am.
get swept up in this
Mr. Davis,
investigation.
what investigation are you referring to, sir?
All right, is there any, do you,
Afraid
All
to
right.
talk? Afraid to say?
What?
Uh,
Hey, when you engage with me,
wait, hold on, Mr. Davis, you cannot engage. She gets it. Hold on, Mr. Davis, hold on, Mr. Davis. As a board of director, hold on. Can I try to maintain order? I am. I'm talking to you. Hold on. Mr. Davis, please let Ms. McGrady ask her questions or make a comment. I allow the board to respond to any public comment. So Ms. McGrady, if you want to respond, you absolutely have a right to do that.
He mentioned twice there was an investigation for me. I'm asking, what investigation is he referring to?
I think what he said, I'm just paraphrasing what he said. I think he said you may get swept up in that investigation. And I truly believe that
Did
may
he
be
not
true as
say
well.
I could end up in orange jumpsuit?
I'm just telling you. I'll say that from right here.
Be swept up in F3 investigation. if
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
ending up in an
Absolutely. I
orange
truly
jumpsuit.
believe that you're going to get swept up in the F3 investigation. That's my belief as well. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move on to business of the district. So we are going to move to, we're on C, Greg, right? Oh, 7A. All right, here we go. Let's get down to business. All right. Educational services, public hearing to ensure availability of textbooks and instructional material, Education Code, Section 60119. The Board of Trustees is asked to conduct a public hearing pursuant to Education Code, Section 60119. Open public hearing at, Mr. Nehan? 7:23. All right. Comments from staff and board, Mr. Gator. Go ahead.
So this is an annual certification of textbook sufficiency. We were visited by Los Angeles County Office of Education at 4 of our sites, and they determined all of those sites to be sufficient in their textbooks availability and distribution.
Okay. Comments from the board. Thank you all for coming. See you next month. Go ahead. Anybody else want to weigh in on this? Any other board? Nope, seeing none. Okay. Are there any comments from the public? I don't think we have to do a card on this, right? Miss Padilla, go ahead, ma'am. Thank you. Welcome. Vivian, do you want to speak on it too? If you want to speak on this subject, can you please just come over to the, I guess you're right, and line up behind the podium, please? Go ahead, Ms. Padilla, it's your time.
So my questions are, is this because you're following the Williams Act and you have to make sure you have sufficient textbooks? And my second question is, if you are replacing old textbooks, which is a need, because we have so many that have mold in them, I had to throw 3 of them from Highland. I volunteered and I dumped them in the trash because they had mold. So if you want to build me for those, I dumped 3.
Just 1 second.
And
If you find that in the future, can you please bring them to me? I would like to see that, please,
Okay.
before we
I
throw them
took a
away. I
picture.
would love to see them. Thank you.
Yeah, I took pictures. So if
Thank you.
you're replacing them or you're buying new ones that are updated to reflect or conform to the new bills that are coming out. So those are my 2 questions.
So the first answer is yes, this is in compliance with Williams case legislation. The second piece is yes, the district has a board adopted textbook adoption process that we follow. If a book is adopted and approved by the board and subsequent additions come out without substantive change, those can be used to backfill for texts that have been declared obsolete.
All right. Does that answer your question, Ms. Padilla?
Yes. However, that process that you mentioned, did you include us, the parents, so that we could see what you're bringing to our students? I never
Yes, in
heard
the
of
last textbook adoption, we did. I believe that was foreign language or world languages. And yes, we did.
that. Okay, it was nothing in regards to health, the health textbooks.
There has not been a new adoption of health textbooks.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Thank you, ma'am.
So Mr. Nehan, is this that 10 days posting that everyone needs to be notified of the textbooks?
For this hearing, yes.
Right, yeah, for this hearing, but
Yes.
that's would have been what Ms. Padilla is referring to, if there would have been.
The
health-
textbook adoption process is separate.
Separate, okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
President, Cabinet, and Mr. Nehan. Just real quick, as a teacher in this district, I'm not speaking part of AVTA on this aspect, but what I would like to do is I would like to speak as a teacher in the fact that having access to books in our classroom and having access to teachers' editions, it is a struggle. I went in the other day to try and get textbooks for myself to have with the unique situation that I'm in my classroom and for our new ED teacher at our site. And we don't have them on sites and we have to borrow them from other sites. Is there something that we could do maybe about the access to those textbooks more readily so that we can do what we need to do? That's all.
Mr. Nehan, can you work with her?
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
figure that out?
I'll email you
Get that
tomorrow,
fixed?
Monica.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Vivian?
Thank you, sir. You know, I'm coming up here not really knowing what I'm hearing, but I'm learning stuff all the time since I've been coming. But it's amazing. It's appalling to think that I remember when Miss Diana Padilla came up here speaking about Little Rock and different schools, talking about how old some of our books are. If this is still on that same agenda type of stuff, it is outrageous that we in this town here, Antelope Valley, California, where money is plenty in many other ways when it comes to this district, when we did have Jay Furno and Vieira on this board and these certain people that are still on this board, people making money, way much money than teachers over here that got degrees. People got degrees. Even the sheriffs don't have degrees like these teachers got degrees, and sure don't have them like probation staff has or some of the ones in correctional officers. But the people that are in this district that are teachers that need what they need, and sometimes it seems like right now it's so hard to get simple things, and monies are always around when you're putting on these here, what's this, all these shots up here about what's going on about the district, what they're doing about these kids with mental health issues, and because they can't get their education, or they're at home not getting educated, or they're being used for different things for education, can't get the right books, can't get the right supplies to do their job. It's appalling that the teachers don't have every single thing that's new in this district, especially when you can appoint new people getting over $200,000 a month, sitting on this board, certain ones on this board who may not have a degree, and even if they got a degree, they're not doing what these damn teachers are doing out here. So I'm gonna say this, I know a lot of teachers that are up here doing the right thing. And I know a lot of them that still got their racist problems, but I know that there are some that care. But like I told you, when I came to this district, had you not known, but if some of you do remember, I'm not one that's going to kiss no behind on what position you are. I wouldn't care if you're the president of the United States. I'm not no respecter of no damn man but God. But let me tell you this, I won't sit up here and act like you're going to disrespect the kids of this district. These kids deserve what your kids are, who got what they got when they were here. Like some of these kids like James Stockdale's, or some of these people like the president, what's his name, the principal that used to be at Highland. All these different peoples and teachers have had a committee of all kind of nepotism about stuff, getting what they want for their kids. But just everyday people can't get what they need. So I'm gonna say this to you real kindly. It's really rude that people that do the work, people that do the work.
Can I?
Yes, sir.
This is a hearing on textbooks.
Well, textbooks need to be given to these kids and keep them educated enough to make sure that they are right up on top like other kids in this district. And it's not done that way because some of these people on this board have voted for us not even have certain curriculums like charter schools, like someone else's husband got a charter school, but we barely got one after 60-something years up here recently, thanks to you three up here. So it's just a shame that the kids in this district, whether it's from Little Rock to wherever, east side of it, can't get to school. But I bet you one school that
30
probably got
seconds.
everything they need, which is Quartz Hill. And guess what? My son was zoned for that school too and got what he had to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. All right. Is there any other conversations or comments from the public on the textbook issue? All right, seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:30. I'm going to go back to G. I have one more speaker card since we went way over 20 minutes. And I want to make sure everybody's heard. Ma'am, you want to speak on an issue? I'll give you 2 minutes. Then I'll move through the agenda quick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Racine Ector, and I just wanted to address the law firm that was previously representing the school district. A lot of you in the school board sat in that expulsion hearing. That's me. I'm that parent. I was the one that was disrespected. I was the one that was not heard. I am the one that they did a false investigation on, and they did not respect the evidence that was shown from the schools all the way to the school board. And I do appreciate the chair as he did speak up and brought this thing this far, because something has to be done. You can't lay in the bed with the same people that you have to here to represent you when you're here to represent the school district and these kids. That is us. That's me. That's my child who has been hurt and harmed from you guys' action. But what bothered me the most is every last one of you that sit on this board and say you're here for these kids, you sat in that room and you allowed it to happen. No one shut it down. And it took for them to say, we don't want another contract with them because they're not representing this school district as they should. And I'm proud of that investigation. And I want to say I am willing to be a part of that investigation to expose the harm that is being done to these kids, these African-American kids, these brown kids, my child, her child, his child. It's not right. And like he said, it's too much money in this district for us not to have anything able to take care of for our kids. And you guys are wrong. And yet again, instead of doing what's right, my daughter still sits harmed from this. And I will come to every school board meeting and continue to speak about it and speak up for what it is. Some of you been on this board too long. And it needs to be changes in a positive way. This is 2023 going to 2024. Let's make these changes for our kids and our future.
Thank you for your comment, ma'am. All right, we were going back to B, correct? 7B, all right. Educational Services adopts resolution 2023-2024-04 to ensure availability of textbooks and instructional materials, Education Code Section 60119. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve attached resolution 2023-24-04. May I have a motion? Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. C, Educational Services, public hearing regarding instructional material funding realignment program, IMFRP certification. The Board of Trustees is asked to conduct a public hearing with regards to industrial or instructional materials funding realignment certification. Open public hearing at
7:34.
0734. Comments from staff. Greg? Mr. Nehan, I mean.
So this is a certification that all of our court texts are aligned with California state standards.
Okay, comments from the board? Seeing none, comments from the public? All right, seeing none. All right, close public hearing at? Greg? Time?
7:34 and 32 seconds.
Well, let's call it 7:34. All right. Education Services Instructional Material Funding Realignment Program Certification. It is recommended the Board of Trustees certify that each pupil in the Antelope Valley Union High School District has been provided with a standard aligned textbook or basic instructional material in each of the core areas. May I have a motion? Second.
Second.
All those discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. E, Education Services, review proposed revision to Board Policy Administrative Regulation BP/AR 1312.1 and BP/AR 1312.3, first read and discussion. It is recommended the Board of Trustees review the proposed revision to the Board Policies Administrative Regulation as presented. Any discussion on that item? All right, seeing none.
Just
Go
one
ahead.
thing,
Yes, ma'am.
I've already spoken with Mr. Nehan about just some questions and suggestions, so he's aware of that.
Perfect. And you have some answers for?
That'll come back at the next meeting with some amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Nehan. F, Educational Services, review of curriculum guide, college and life management. First reading discussion is recommended the Board of Trustees receive the attached curriculum guide for review. Any discussion from the board? Right.
The same thing, we had a very lengthy conversation about the curriculum, and so pending those hopeful suggestions.
All right.
We're good.
Thank you. We'll move to G, Educational Service Review of Curriculum Guide, English 9 Intensive. First read and discussion. It is recommended the Board of Trustees receive the attached curriculum for guide for review. Any discussions? All right, seeing none. We'll move on to H. Educational Services Review of Curriculum Guide, Ethics, Ethnic Cultures, as English 12. First reading discussion. It is recommended the Board of Trustees receive the attached curriculum guide for review. Any discussion?
Yes. Have a name.
Go ahead.
So it was great to read this ethnic, I know it's just the first reading discussion, but I pulled some statistics about, ultimately, I'm always thinking about representation matters. And when it comes to curriculum and what we're teaching in the classroom, I'm going to say why it matters. Why does it matter to have ethnic studies classes, covering the 4 areas of ethnic studies: Latinx, Latino, Hispanic, Asian American, Native American, African American, Black. So Black, this is coming from a 2019 statistic from Oakland Unified School District, and it's saying that Black history and culture discussions in the classroom reduced Black young men from dropping out at a rate of approximately 50%. That is just by bringing this conversation into the room. Then in Tucson, Arizona, Mexican American studies were several percentage points more likely to graduate high school compared to similar students who did not take Mexican American studies courses. Just by bringing the idea of Cesar Chavez and UFW and women and people of color that have been instrumental in bringing social movements, it has allowed the students to be more engaged, and they are more likely to vote and have their voice heard. So there's other thoughts, but just ultimately why it matters, it matters. It matters. So I will continue to be the EDI lens on this board, I think. But I just wanted to make note that I can't wait to go visit this class. That is Ethnic Cultures, English 12, and then whatever else ethnic cultures we have in our district. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crone. All right, we will move to I. Antelope Valley College District and Antelope Valley Union High School District College and Career Access Pathway Partnership Agreement for Dual Enrollment EDS 2023-24053. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the proposed agreement between the Antelope Valley College District and the Antelope Valley Union High School District College and Career Access Pathway Partnership Agreement for Dual Enrollment. I'll make the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ms. Nguyen?
I do have a question. So exactly what students does this serve? Any student from across the district or?
So this has the ability to impact all students with growth of the program. But a student needs to be enrolled in one of our classes that is also identified as a
Okay.
dual enrollment program. They will get credit for both.
It's a wonderful opportunity.
Anything else? All right, seeing no more discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Personal service action items, AVUHSD/AVTA collective bargaining MOU regarding home teaching. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the agreement with AVTA as presented. I'll make the motion proudly. Can I get a second? All right, any discussion on this? Once again, Mr. Millens, good job. I will go ahead and take the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. All right. Okay. I would like to get a consensus of the board so we can approve 8B through 8D together. Ms. Nguyen, you good with that? That's a yes. Ms. Nguyen, good. Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah.
Good. Ms. Corona. Okay, and I'm good with it. All right, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve and direct the Assistant Superintendent, Human Resources to submit a short-term parent permit allowing these individuals to teach in the subject area indicated. Altogether 8B through 8D. I will make the motion. Can I get a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. E, Independent Contract Master Agreement PS number 23-24-03. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve Independent Contractor Master Agreement PS number 2023-2024-03. I will make the motion. Can I get a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. F, Independent Contract Master Agreement PS number 23-24-04. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve Independent Contractor Master Agreement PS 2023-24-04. I'll make the motion. Can I get a second? All those discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. G, Independent Contractor Master Agreement PS 23-24-05. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve Independent Contractor Master Agreement PS 2023-24-05. I will make the motion. Can I get a second? All those in favor, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. 9, Business Services Action Item A, Report 2023 unaudited actuals. Mr. Hawkins. And Mr. Hawkins, can you give us a brief version of this?
I have like 38 slides. I've memorized them and worked on them.
I think that may be a little disingenuous, sir, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't want to take any of your time. Some people want to go home.
Good evening. Tonight, we're here to look at what's called our unaudited actuals. So for last fiscal year, we closed the books on June 30th, and then we worked on closing them for the month of July and August, and we are preparing our books, readying them for an outside auditor to come look at them. First, I wanted to look at our current school year state budget, and the state is currently deficit spending, and they have taken, how do I get that off of here? Gary?
It's like, help. With authority.
That's right in the morning. Anyways.
Just work it for him.
Yeah.
Fast.
What has happened is money that we were supposed to have received this year, the state took back. So for example, they took back $1.1 billion in the Learning Recovery Block Grant. They took $1 billion away from green buses. And so our electric bus or green buses for this year, the state took $1 billion back on those. So we don't have that for across the state, along with, fortunately, they only took $200 million away from the arts and music instructional block grant. So instead of cutting it in half, they took 200 million, and then the college, community college facilities.
Mr. Hawkins, are you telling me we have more money?
I'm getting there.
Okay. Ready, Carl?
Community college facilities lost almost $500 million. Enter. Gary?
I want to stay up here.
Well, I have to use that. All right, so in essence, the budget deficit's equal to the COLA that the state has put out for us. When we look at the Arts and Music Block Grant, if you remember, they enacted 3.6 billion. They were going to take half. They only took 200 million. So, and if you remember, we got 50% of the funds last year. The remaining funds were supposed to be distributed last spring. Didn't happen. The funds still must be encumbered by June 30th, 2026, and the governing board has put together a plan. I got today at 4 o'clock the email that says we will be receiving about 5.9 million more on the arts grant than that. So we still have plenty of time, and we have additional arts grant money to that we can use for this year and the next two, actually.
Outstanding. I'm excited.
Then one of the things, the other part that has arts in it is your Prop 28, and that was the arts implementation. One of the issues we have is that we don't know the rules yet. The audit guide's not going to be out till 23-24. And although I can tell you about how much money we should receive, we don't know when they're going to send it to us. So we're still working and waiting for some additional guidance on the state. We should receive in the neighborhood of about $3.3 million. That is all specifically designated for different school sites. So it doesn't come to the district for us to dole out. The school sites get those dollars. To take a look at our planning now for the next 3 years, you can see that with the State Department of Finance, they're looking at a COLA. This year we got the 8.22, but next year we dropped to 394, 329, and then 319. So the state is not expecting larger COLAs going forward. You can see our STRS rate remains even, but our CalPERS rate will go up. By 26-27, we'll be at almost 29%. That's 29 cents for every dollar we'll be paying into PERS. If we look at our revenue, and I do want to compare our unaudited actuals against our adopted budget, that's the budget we're using for this year. You can see that our revenue has gone down. Our last year, we received about $430 million. This year, in our 23-24 adopted budget, we're expecting about $389 million for a decrease of 9.5%. Fortunately, that has to do with the COVID dollars. We've received most of the COVID dollars already. We have them in-house. We have about $55 million still to spend over the next year and till September of 24. So we have about a year to spend those.
And those funds are to be used for what?
According to the legislation, has to be for student. Oh gosh.
You can get back to me. Go on.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
sir,
one of the things we're using is later on is the air conditioning. So it's part of the indoor air quality, and it has to do with the COVID emergency response, PP&E, and a lot of those other things like
Thank
that. But the key is your other state revenue. That's going to see a 70% decrease, and that has to do with the COVID related dollars that we have received and we will not receive again. Real quick, we can look at how our expenditures were last year. We spent 36% of our budget on certificated salaries, 14 classified, 26 on employee benefits. We pay about 76 cents per dollar that we bring in for staff. That's a little lower because we have these extra COVID dollars we're spending. Normally we run about 85%. Went the other way. And we can look at our ending fund balance. We have quite a few COVID dollars that are stacked into that we have for an unappropriated ending balance of about 59 million, but that includes the COVID dollars. If we then look at where we're going to be on the unassigned balance, because we've assigned these balances out, So we're going to have an ending balance, an unending unassigned balance of about $3.65 million. $3.66 million is left unassigned in our budget from last year. If we look at our other funds, you can see if we group together our ASBs, they have a positive ending balance, as well as our charter school, adult ed, cafeteria, our special reserve, and our capital facilities all have strong ending balances. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions.
Was
Ms.
that-
McGrady, you got any questions, Ms. Nguyen?
I do not, but thank you very much for
Anybody?
your report.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that report. I will go ahead and move on to the approval. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the 2023-2024 unaudited actuals for transmittal to the Los Angeles County Office of Education. I'll make the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Resolution number 2023-24-06 GAN limit. It is recommended the Board of Trustees adopt resolution number 2023-2024-06 as presented. I'll make the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. D, public hearing to consider entering into an energy service contract to implement energy-related improvements. The board is asked to conduct a public hearing with regards to an energy service contract with Pacific West Energy Solution to implement energy-related improvements. Open the public hearing at. Comments from you, staff? Mr. Hawkins?
This is an example of using our ESSER dollars. We're replacing about 180, almost 190 air conditioning units. Overall, when we're done with this is phase 5. We will have replaced close to 95% of all air conditioning units in the district. That's over 1,000 of them. So
Great.
there will be with brand new units that are able to have a stronger motor that can pull through a MERV 13 filter.
And better energy efficient.
It's extremely more energy efficient than the 20, 25-year-old units, as you would know.
Absolutely. All right. Comments from the public? Right. Seeing none, we will go ahead and close the public hearing at.
And again, that falls into the category of the workforce agreement, right?
This one would not
That one would not?
because but fortunately they use ATCO and they are all in-house union
Got it. Okay.
employees.
Okay. And E, energy service contract, or already, we're in E, right? Okay, energy service contract determination and approval for air quality measures. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the contract award for energy services to Pacific West Energy Solution. I'll make the motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. F, conduct public hearing to consider entering into an energy service contract to implement energy-related improvement district office. The board is asked to conduct a public hearing with regards to an energy service contract with Pacific West Energy Solution to implement energy-related improvements. Open the public hearing time at. Okay. Mr. Hawkins.
This is for this building. That's why we cannot use ESSER money because that's designed for students. It is the other half of the building where the LA County rents from us. We're looking to replace all of those units. When we remodeled this side, we replaced these, but we did not do those. And so we're using our funds from their rent that they pay us. We're using that to pay for this.
Cool. Comments from the public? All right, seeing none, close the public hearing at it.
7:53.
Okay, energy service contract determination approval for air quality measures district office. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve a contract award for energy service to Pacific West Energy Solution and affirm the determination in accordance with California Government Code 4217. I'll make the motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. H, request for allowance of attendance due to emergency conditions, Antelope Valley Union High School District. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached J13A attendance waiver for the Antelope Valley Union High School District to decrease the allowance of attendance day by 1 day. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Request for allowances, I. Request for allowance for attendance due to emergency conditions academies of the Antelope Valley. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the attached J13A attendance waiver for academies of the Antelope Valley to decrease the allowance of attendance day by 1 day. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. J, asphalt crack filled for KHS Phoenix North and LHS campuses. It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the attached proposal for A&M Construction and Engineering, Inc. and authorize Brian Hawkins as authorized agent to execute the contract on behalf of the district. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second? All right, discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. K, architectural service firms. It is recommended that Board of Trustees approve the responsive architectural service firms and authorize the Assistant Superintendent Business Services to enter into architectural service agreements on behalf of the district. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second? Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. L, professional inspection services. It is recommended the Board of Trustees approve the responsive inspection services firm and authorize the Assistant Superintendent Business Services to enter an inspection services agreement as needed on behalf of the district. I'll make a motion. Can I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. 10, administrative services action item, adopt board resolution number 2023-2405, National Hispanic Heritage Month. I will defer a motion. I need a motion. Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay. All right. Any discussion? All right.
Yes. I'd like Carla to read it.
Okay. Well, if Miss Corona wishes, yes.
Yes, thank you for saying that because I actually was going to read most of it.
course she
So
was.
now I'm just going to give it all to you.
All
All right. National Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15 through October 15, 2023. Whereas the Antelope Valley Union High School District takes pride in recognizing and celebrating September 15 to October 15, 2023 as National Hispanic Heritage Month, which highlights the historical and current contributions of Hispanic Americans to American society and culture. And whereas Hispanic Americans trace their roots to Spain, Mexico, Central America, South America, and the Spanish-speaking nations of the Caribbean. And whereas the observance was born in 1968 when Congress authorized the president to issue an annual proclamation designating National Hispanic Heritage Week. 2 decades later, lawmakers expanded the observance to a month-long celebration stretching from September 15 to October 15. And whereas AVUHSD celebrates the vibrant Hispanic American spirit that influences our nation's art and culture, as well as the significant contributions and advances that Hispanic Americans have made and continue to make in our community, state, nation, and the world. And whereas in continued efforts to honor National Hispanic Heritage Month and to promote equity and diversity, AVUHSD remains dedicated to providing resources and support for Spanish-speaking communities through our multilingual academic support unit and migrant education program. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing board of the Antelope Valley Union High School District proclaim September 15 to October 15, 2023 as National Hispanic Heritage Month and encourage activities to celebrate this occasion in our educational communities, adopted this 14th day of September 2023 by the governing board in Lancaster, California. So that's the, thank you, proclamation. And then just for a discussion point, I asked Mr. Nehan for a list of what was actually going on for this next month. I'm really excited to go to the Latino Knowledge Bowl, which I'm able to make this Friday. That's amazing. And I do want to comment, just as I said about the proclamation for African American History Month. Every day we should be celebrating and recognizing the contributions that Latinos have made in this country. Me being one of them, I'm the first elected Latina on this board. So is my hermano here, Mr. Sanchez, the first Latino on the board. But so very proud to be a part of this. I do also want the district to also recognize that there are many of our Hispanic students that are not first generation. They're second, third, fourth generation. They may not speak Spanish, being Latino is more than speaking Spanish. We need to encourage, nurture the finding of the roots and not feeling like there's a shame of, well, I don't speak Spanish, so I don't fit in. Trust me, I know how that feels growing up. Things have now changed, but the district needs to also support those second, third, fourth, and beyond generation, not only with the Spanish speaking programming, although that is very important as well. So thank you for allowing me those comments.
Absolutely. Mr. McGrady, anything? Ms. McGrady, anything? Okay. Mr. Sanchez, anything?
No, it's gonna be an honor.
All right, great. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. All right, good job. All right, I'm gonna propose a 5-minute break before we get in the consent calendar. We can move. All right.
Yes.
Are you having fun yet? I only missed the first one, but I'm just going to. I believe you are going on. And you know what? I know, I'm trying to have a case too, although sometimes some of the accusations are pretty points.
Let's get a cookie.
You're gonna absolutely get a cookie.
Thank you for your service today.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. All right, we get it. All right, Miss McGrady. Miss McGrady. Can you get up here? You and Karen can talk about all that stuff later. Can we get up here and start this meeting? Thank you. Two Karens. Girl, I got your back. Reconvene. Move into the consent agenda. A, approved items listed in the following consent agenda categories: education service, student services, personal services, business services, and administrative services. Actions proposed for the consent agenda are items consistent with adopted policies and approved practices of the district and are deemed routine in nature. The board will be asked to approve all the items in the consent agenda by a single vote unless any member of the board asks that an item be removed from the consent agenda to be considered and discussed separately. Does anybody want to pull anything?
I do.
Go ahead. Ms.
12B is in boy and 15K.
15K, 12B, and discussion or both? Just discussion?
Discussion and vote separately.
Okay, so discussion and vote. Okay. Miss Wynn. 15A discussion. Okay, anybody else? Okay, all right, so let's just go to 12B. I will make a motion to, well, actually, let you make a motion. What do you want to do? Or do you want to, well, we'll discuss it and then vote on it.
Do we have a motion?
No, I don't
think
think.
we
No. So do you want to do a motion? Because now it's a vote. Do you want to do a motion on 12B?
First and then do the all of it.
Well, we have to get to discussion after the motion.
Yeah.
So we're going to take 12B. We'll do a motion.
Second.
So I'll make a motion.
Second.
Second, discussion. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So this is for the Creative Wellbeing Participation Agreement with LA County Arts Education Collective, which is under the LA County Department of Arts and Culture. So I had spoken with Mr. Nehan, and hopefully you have some information for me, but just to call it out, this is a 3-year grant, and it is a pilot for Eastside High School. And my concern was Eastside is love Eastside. It's geared more towards the performance area. But my concern was that it feels like we're supporting them substantially. And I'm just wondering if this amazing teaching artist coming in, working within, it's pretty much like a residency, could be at another site. So that's what I wanted to know. And yes, I did read it, and it said it's starting at Eastside with the hopes of growing. But my question also is, why was Eastside selected? And I'm not sure how it got to that. So there's 2 questions.
So there's a couple reasons why Eastside was selected. Number one, one of our arts coordinators works closely with the Arts Collective and is also a teacher at Eastside High School. But it's also, this is a pilot program. You want it to grow, you want it to be successful. So we wanted to put it at a place where we had the capacity to fully implement this. And the idea is we start there as a pilot and we grow the program to other campuses.
But did you do any exploration of if other campuses could support what this program would be?
So I'll have to ask Amy Bodner to come up. She's a part of the arts. Amy, if you can come up and help out with these questions.
Thank you. It's like, really?
Mhm. Hello.
Can we get a mic?
No.
Yeah. There we
No?
go. Just
We
one
can.
second.
It's green. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So I would second what Greg said, that Evelyn found the program and Evelyn has the time to really make sure that it's working at Eastside before we move beyond Eastside, which is ideally what we'd be able to do.
So she wrote the grant, so there's that feeling of ownership and investment in it? Or was it a grant that was given just because they chose us?
I think anyone can get it. I don't know the answer to that question.
We don't know if she's researched it and applied for it and got it.
She did apply for it as a part of the LA Arts Collective, but I don't know that it's an exclusive grant for one school. From the district purpose, the idea is to grow the program at all schools.
Right, but I feel like when this particular, I mean, I've worked with LACDAC for a while. I sat on their advisory board for the CEII stuff. But I'm just thinking we need to dig deeper and not go with the simple solution of Eastside High School, because it has the beautiful theater and it has all of the different arts programs. I mean, if this grant was able, I'm just going to throw Little Rock out there. We'll give Mr. Sanchez some love. Little Rock High School out there to have this support, then we need to make it work. It's okay to be risky and challenging, and then you learn through the pilot all the maybe bumps, where Eastside High School just feels easy. It feels like, oh yeah, of course it goes Eastside High School. They're the performance arts school. So that's why I'm really, I love the grant. I love that there's free money, and I've worked with them, and I think that's why I'm very, very pinpoint focused on the agency. So if it's possible, can we do a little bit more work before we say it only can be in Eastside High School? Or
Is it possible to have in the program, if it's at Eastside, is it possible to be able to have other kids have the opportunity from Little Rock or Highland or Quartz Hill to come over there and participate in that? Is there a way for that?
I believe that this is a school day grant, so that would be a challenge. But again, the idea is it starts at Eastside and it grows to other schools. If you'd like to take this in a different direction, we can investigate reapplying for the grant at a different school. I don't know if we will have missed a timeline with that.
So, okay, so it was contingent on this school only. If we don't take Eastside High School, then we decline the grant.
I don't know that answer without reading deeply into the grant.
I think the board, as responsible voters, we should not do the voting until we have all of that information. I don't know how we can move on this.
Okay, could I just throw in, and maybe I'm not understanding, but I think you said that this is a pilot program and we want it to be successful. So it would make sense to start it at one of our high schools that has a strong program. And if it's successful, then we can move it to the schools that don't have one and try to grow it there. If we move it to a school that doesn't have a strong program right now, it might not be successful and then no one will get it.
But it's teaching artists that's delivering the program. So the artists are the ones delivering. It's not required of teachers to do the programming. So I think I hear you. I acknowledge what you're saying. I just feel like we're again just taking the easy way because that's just how it's been done. And let's take.
Well, that's really not true because we've never had this before. We haven't had this opportunity.
No, but generally speaking, just generally speaking. So, but if the EHS goes with this grant and if we don't approve a yes, then we lose the grant. I don't want to do that. But I just would like us to be able to say, this program can happen at as you're saying, least supported area school. Now let's bring in EHS and now they're really going to flourish. I don't know. I'm vacillating a little bit, but
I think a concern about Little Rock is
I just threw
that,
that out there.
okay.
I would say whomever Mr. Nehan instructs to do a deep dive of, okay, which school can really use this, like read the points of what the well-being is. It's about SEL, it's about bringing in mindfulness, it's about the arts part of the therapy, drama therapy, that sort of thing. So
there's two directions we can take this. The board can take action to approve tonight and we can investigate the ability of moving it in part or in whole to another campus besides East Side and using that as the pilot. We can table it and we can investigate whether or not we need to resubmit a grant. And I don't know, again, what timelines may or may not apply.
well, I don't want to do the letter, so I'll just take your word for it. So thank you. That was all I needed to say.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second. Any other discussion? It sounds like this is gonna be a positive vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. All right, that's on 12B. We'll move to 15K. I'll make the motion. You want a second? Okay, discussion, Ms. Corona.
Okay, so I called this out, and again, I spoke with Mr. Nehan about it as well. It's the approval of site disc jockey preferred providers for the school year. So I brought this out because on this list of DJs, my question to him was how many are women DJs? And I bring this up because in the spirit of representation matters, our students may want to be audio engineers or sound technicians or anything of that career or be DJs. And if all our young females are seeing our men up there spinning or pushing buttons now in this days and age, then I just don't think it's representation. So I've asked him for a demographic study of the list of approved DJs of who are female. If they're female owned, great, but it still doesn't get to the fact of a DJ being female. And then also local. Are these local DJs? Or are they coming from Bakersfield or Mojave or Kern County? LA somewhere? I think so, but maybe. So I'm okay with, I don't want to table this again because I want us to move forward. I don't want me to be the one to always feel like I'm pushing back, but I do want to
Keep pushing back.
True. I want to push back on this because women representation matters in all roles. We can look at our leadership and, so the DJs, if you can get me that information, then contingent on that, I will.
Okay,
support it.
we can get that information and if it needs to be modified, we
Okay,
can bring it back
thank you.
for subsequent approval.
All right, any other discussion on that? Sounds like it's going to be another positive one with some stuff coming back to make sure we're being inclusive. All right, no other discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. That's 15K. Ms. Nguyen, we'll go to 15A on your discussion, just for discussion.
15A is donations, and I never want to miss a meeting that I don't get an opportunity to say thank you to all the people who donate to our programs and our schools and our students to make sure that things happen for them that may not otherwise happen. So thank you to all of the people who donate to our schools and our students.
All right. With that, we are going to go ahead. I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Can I have a second? Second. Any discussion on that? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Right, we will go to Mr. Nehan.
Thank you. I just want to say congratulations to all of our female flag football athletes. This Monday was the first day of league play. Very spirited. I think the boys have something to worry about. I just want to say congratulations and great job.
All right, Ms. McGrady.
Thank you. I just need to say again that I find it disgraceful that this board would not allow CSEA a place on our agenda. We could not hold school without our classified employees. And I want you to know that I appreciate all your work and all that you do for our district. Just in passing, I feel like I need to just address this a little bit about the millions of dollars that I've collected as a board member. I'm not quite sure how many years I'll have to serve on this board to ever get even to the hundreds of thousands.
With $400 and roughly $50 is going to take you a long time, man.
About a month, yeah.
A long
Just over
time.
$400 a month,
what,
just FYI.
2% raise every year potentially.
$200,000 or millions of dollars, none of that is accurate, but just thought I'd point that out. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I don't think anybody's getting rich up here, but okay. Not on our hourly salary. All right, Ms. Nguyen.
Me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Actually, I was able to attend the flag football game and it was just an absolutely beautiful evening. And the students just played so well. I was really impressed. I have to admit, I don't know all the rules about flag football, but the score was amazing. And so were the students and so were the staff that helped support them. I was standing on the Lancaster High School side for a while, and there were teachers and support staff that had come out to support the students, and that's always a wonderful thing to see. I also want to just take a real quick moment to say thank you to all the staff that I always enjoy the conversations that I have with staff and I enjoy hearing the positives and the negatives as well. And I appreciate the openness and the honesty that staff portrays in our conversations. I do so appreciate those. And there was a question asked that where have I been? Well, for 35 years, I've been volunteering in our schools, and I have had the opportunity to mop the floors with the custodians at Joshua Elementary School. I've had the opportunity to work in the duplicating department. I've had the opportunity to be on almost every single board that a parent could be on in the Lancaster School District. Also had the opportunity to work on bond campaigns and help build schools. And I've spent quite a bit of my time working with students. It is my happy place. Thank you.
Right, Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, the only thing I gotta say, everybody that's in here in this room right now, every one of us, I wanted to say this last meeting, but it was a special board meeting. But since we have more people here, I wanted to see if we could share on our social media the Take Two to Prevent Suicide. I know last month, I saw a couple of staff here share it, and I shared it myself. It's pretty much information, and all it takes is to save one kid out there, one life, and that's a big thing that we can do as one group in here.
To piggyback, didn't we have another superintendent just share with us, Greg? They had a situation as well, that it's very sad. Yesterday, very sad at one of our feeder schools, so. Ms. Corona.
Yes. Hello, everyone again. So my comments, I had the pleasure of visiting our Rex Paris school for back to school night. I was really glad to be there. And to be honest, the reaction I got was of pure delight. I think they were surprised that a board member chose to go to RX Paris High School because they expressed to me that they're not always feeling the same love as all of our comp sites. So I want to make sure that we're supporting all of our schools equally. And I know we do. Of course, that's a much smaller school, but it was really great. What a great campus, RX Paris. And the comment about the CSEA, I definitely appreciate CSEA. I myself am a union sister with AVCFT. And I do feel that it did take the action of Board President Hughes to get people up here to hear the concerns. I had never heard all of these concerns about the pay and the conditions, and we didn't know. So, Mr. Hughes, thank you for engaging and giving fire. Because before it was Mrs. White who would give the report only, and I didn't hear other board comments, and we didn't hear the negative as well. I think Mrs. Nguyen mentioned she likes to hear both, and I do too. And then also just in general, I do look forward to seeing where, I know I asked Mr. Nehan this last time, but where is the regulation or law or policy that we have to put unions on our agenda? So I want to know more about that because they're using such a language of we're stopping their bordering interference on union issues. And I want to know, are we? So hopefully next time we can have that info.
I can help us out. We did a response to CSEA on the issue of unfair labor practice on my decision. No one's else, not Mr. Nehan, not Ms. McGrady, not Ms. Nguyen, not Mr. Sanchez, not Ms. Corona. My decision. I'm the board president. I took that decision. I made that decision. And I heard a lot about respect today. And respect goes both ways. She's not on that agenda because she was disrespectful. And I'm not going to allow someone that I give a privilege to speak to this board. That's my right as a board president to have the agenda set. If you come in here and you disrespect us, disrespect our council, and that's exactly what she did. Basically said he was inferior to F3. I laugh. F3's been working here for 25 years. They do investigations. Miss McGrady read this great letter of how F3 did an investigation on the disrespect of a parent. They found that I had no merit saying that, but I think we heard from the parent tonight. She felt disrespected. I don't think they talked to her. I don't think they came to any one of us in this board except for Miss McGrady spoke with F3, I believe. Other than Miss McGrady speaking to F3 and probably the attorney.
You're actually speaking out of turn, sir. You don't know whether I spoke with them or not.
Yeah, absolutely. I do know you spoke with them, but anyway,
Don't know that I spoke about
absolutely know
what you're
you did.
discussing. You do
Okay.
not know that.
I absolutely know that, but
You do
what I'm
not.
saying is, thank you very much. But what I'm saying is that's the type of the investigation F3 has been doing in this district to our employees, to our district staff, to our parents for years. Thank God they're not here anymore. But, you know, we made that decision and I just wanted to say that. So Ms. White is not on the agenda because she was disrespectful and I'm not going to allow that. Mr. Millings is on the agenda because he hasn't been disrespectful. This is nothing against CSEA members because my commitment is I'm going to make them the best paid, best benefited. That's my goal. We've heard from, and I love it. We heard from paraeducators, what we know that are just paid badly. We're going to do something about that. Ms. White, she's going to negotiate a contract. That's great. That's on her part. But from a district perception and from our job as managers, we are going to take care of our employees. Whether I like the union president or not is absolutely irrelevant. And I don't. The issue is we are absolutely going to make our employees the best. We want the best employees and you have to pay the best and benefit in the best and guarantee you this majority is going to do that despite whether we like the union or not. It's irrelevant. Sorry to take that, but
That was it. That was my segue to you.
And I think Ms. Corona is actually being too modest here. From day one that we sat on this board, Ms. Corona has been talking about lowly paid classified employees. I absolutely agree with her and we need to do something about it. And we're going to do something about it. We have negotiations coming. Ms. White's going to get on her side, but we as managers have the ability to pass proposals and do things as well. And we are going to do that. All right. Anybody else?
You gonna let Mr. Delgado speak?
Who?
Our student board member, Mr. Delgado?
I know, I just said
Are you going to let
anybody
him
else.
speak?
Wait, hold on. I said anyone else, that would be Mr. Delgado, but thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Go ahead.
Um,
Sir.
I'm just really excited for, the next month of being Hispanic Heritage. It's really important to me that like my culture is being represented in a way that I feel like is right. I came from two parents who came from dirt, nothing and built something like they still have trouble believing that their student sits on this board. And like, it's super sweet and I hope to make them proud. So, and that goes for everyone, first gen, second gen, third gen, every person who's come to America looking for a better life. Like, I get that. And I want to spread that love too. And then going on to take two for suicide, as Mr. Sanchez said, sorry. It only takes a second to save a life. I did lose an uncle to suicide 3 years ago, and I wish I would have done something, but looking forward, looking into the future, I want to promote that well-being of it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to reach out for help too. And just two other points, I met with Ms. Moore about student engagement, really excited for that. And then I also met with Ms. Rissling about dress code. I'm really excited for that dress code focus groups that we're gonna be making. And yeah, thank you.
And Mr. Delgado, go. Sorry. Mr. Delgado. My daughter sat there, as you know, and you're sitting there twice. That means you're an amazing kid. We know it. They keep electing you. You are going to do amazing things and you're going to make your parents very proud. And thank you very much for sitting up here and guiding us. All right, from the kids' perspective. All right. I'm going to go back into closed session for a minute, and then we'll come back and report. I'm going to reconvene closed session. At this time, I'll be back out in probably about 5 minutes. Being a regular meeting, closed session, I'm gonna go ahead and report out from closed session. Okay. And, okay. Three students, correct?
Correct.
Okay, may I please have a motion to approve administrative hearing panel recommendations for student expulsions and or order as presented the expulsions of 3 students? May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Item 18D, during closed session, the board considered compromise or release agreement STS 24031OAH case number 20230604042 by a vote to 5-0. The board took action to approve the compromise and release agreement. Item 18E, during closed session, the board considered compromise and release agreement STS 24052OAH case number 20230606686 by a vote of 5-0. The board took action to approve the compromise and release agreement. Item 18F, during closed session, the board considered claim number 230802001 by a vote of 5-0. The board took action to reject the claim. Item 18G, during closed session, the board considered claim number 230816001 by a vote of 5-0. The board took action to accept the claim. Item 18H, during closed session, the board considered one case pending litigation, OAH, case number 20230500840 by a vote of 5-0. The board took action to approve. All right. Everything, that's everything? Okay. We will, it's recommended the board adjourn the meeting. I make that motion.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay, say no, say nay. Seeing none, so moved. Oh, wait, hold on. All right, sorry, let me back up. I want to read this. Let me pull back that motion real quick. I got to read the highlighted. Yes, so I'm gonna pull that motion and that approval back. We'll do that one more time. Do you want to read that, Greg?
Sure can.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. Second page I missed.
So.
Um,
for formalities, I would say you should,
I'll make a motion to reconvene the meeting, correct? Can I get a second?
you could say your, withdrawal of the prior approved motion to adjourn.
I will withdraw my motion and will you remove your second? And will you guys remove your votes?
Yes.
Yes. All right, we're back on.
All right, we'd like to close the meeting in honor and memory of Mikey Lothridge. Mikey Lothridge was hired as a vice principal in 1986. She retired from the district in 2007. She served the district for 21 years.
Yes, and I apologize for missing that. It was on page 2. All right. So I will go ahead and make a motion to adjourn. Can I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed say nay. Seeing none, so moved. I messed up that last motion anyway. All right, thank you.